Item Number SCP-6704 Security Level 4 Containment Class Euclid Disruption Class Dark Risk Class Notice Special Containment Procedures SCP-6704 is to be encouraged. To this end, all Foundation facilities in the continental United States of America are to observe July 4th as a day for relaxation of typical duties, recreation, and social events for personnel, excepting facilities where such activities would unacceptably compromise containment efforts. It is strongly advised that all such events conclude with an outdoors fireworks display and include at least 3 of the following elements: suspension of regular research and testing for D-class persons and or sapient anomalies, suspension of non-essential containment operations for general staff, decoration of interior social spaces with themed accoutrements, red, white, and blue preferred, suspension of regular meal plans and rations in favor of foods such as hot dogs, hamburgers, french fries, pizza, popcorn, and similar. Foundation plans in major media and political institutions are to continue to promote the present commercialized and romanticized public image of the holiday. However, owing to the significant cultural penetration that has already been achieved, little effort is required for this purpose. Description: SCP-6704 denotes a multisensory cognitohazard. SCP-6704 is primarily audiovisual in nature and is mainly caused by fireworks produced and or detonated within the continental United States. Specifically, SCP-6704 functions as a form of exploit for the human and particularly the American psyche. Persons exposed to SCP-6704 display certain psychological features at rates greater than that of baseline humanity, including increased suggestibility, increased mimetic susceptibility to both anomalous and non-anomalous memes, hypersociability, increased identification within racial, religious, ideological, and other social in-groups, increased susceptibility to chemical influence, primarily food and alcohol, but also drugs such as nicotine, THC, opioids, and other narcotics and amnestics, decreased IQ, an increased sense of moral relativism, often paradoxically accompanied by higher self-assessment of moral consistency. It is to be noted that SCP-6704 effects only become significant within a sufficiently large population sample and with diminishing returns beyond limited exposure. Intense and or frequent use of SCP-6704 stimuli is not beneficial and often counterproductive. Annual exposure is considered sufficient to attain optimal results. SCP-6704 effects have also been found to be contagious to a certain degree. Individuals and populations with only indirect exposure also display its symptoms, albeit to a lesser degree. It is estimated that SCP-6704 effects, since their discovery in 1981 and the beginning of the active utilization in 1989, have saved the Foundation roughly $1.8 trillion in operating expenses, owing to conditions including but not limited to an increased supply of D-class personnel sourced through the Department of Corrections, an increased prevalence of problematic drug use in the United States, simplifying many situations in which witnesses to anomalous phenomena must be discredited, greater employee compliance and productivity, especially on containment projects likely to cause stress, depression, or moral unease, decreased operating costs of facilities due to outsourcing of labor and materials obtained, increased docility of humanoid anomalies. Addendum 67041 Ethics Committee Inquest 2008. To Overseer Council mailing list. From Chair. Date July 3rd, 2008. Subject SCP-6704. Overseers, I have just had a very unpleasant conversation with EarthCom's liaisons in the accounting department. There seems to be a known virulent cognitive infection at practically all levels of American society. Overwatch and its infinite wisdom has not only deemed it unnecessary to insulate our personnel against, but seen fit to actively expose our personnel to it, all for the sake of easing financial exploitations of our fellow human beings. Not only is this a plain violation of our core directive to contain anomalies before all, it is in contravention of various EarthCom initiatives over the past decade to protect our employees and living anomalies. Most importantly, it puts us in violation of our consent for anomalous mimetic exposure protocols. A research group from Applied Influence has also advised us that they cannot guarantee that SCP-6704's effects are limited to those already noted in its file. In variety or scope, you can expect this issue to feature strongly in this week's general session. Madeline Piercier, Ethics Committee, Co-Chair. To Chair. From Verified Overseer Account. Date July 4th, 2008. Subject SCP-6704. You seriously emailing us about crapness minor, Madeline? Do you have any idea how many times appeals against these procedures have died in subcommittee? On a daily basis, we do far cooler things to protect our OPSEC than have a few annual barbecues. And if you've been talking to accounting, you know as well as I do that this has been a crap year for us financially. If we can trim billions in the budget by throwing parties for a few dozen sites, then we damn well do. I expect you to drop this, and I also expect your department to be in attendance tonight. I hear the cafeteria folks make bacon dogs this year.